YouTubers, Mike Martins here with the Mike Martins channel and BitShooters and Minds.com and what's that other one called? Subscribestar and Patreon. Thanks for supporting me, guys. Anyways, okay, what's going on? Well, I was digging around and I remember a chart, 5 to be exact, that I was reading back in 2013, 2012. And it's a very interesting chart because I'd keep talking about the wages that are, or the production going up, but pay not going up, and this huge delta in between. It's like, where's this going, right? Well, I remember reading this graph, this chart, a whiles back, and I'm like, I think I want to bring this up again. Well, here it is, guys. I never brought it up on this channel. I should have brought it up on one of the Mike in the Nights, but here it is. This kind of explains to you what's happening all over the world. The U.S. Great Prosperity, the Great Regression in 5 charts. So it says here, this is by David Ruscio. I guess he got it off a it looks like it's from a magazine or something. And it says the USA charts, the Great Prosperity from 1947 to 1979, the Great Regression from 1980 to now. Income gains by fifths from 1947 to 1979. That is actually good income gains. And then income gains by fifths by fifths from 1980 to now. And then wealth distribution and household spending 1975 to now. So let's get on it. Here it is. The Great Prosperity. 1947, you saw the end of World War II, and you saw a lot of, and this is the birth of the boomer generation, okay? Up until 1979. Now, pay rose with productivity. Remember, guys, on Mike in the Night or other shows, I'd be saying, yeah, man, you could pay your mortgage off in the late 70s and early 80s in 5-6 years bagging groceries at a store. It was true. You could. You really could. So let's see what happened. Pay rose with productivity. Okay, of course, you would expect that. The more you produce, the more you get, right? Wages and overall compensation for production and non-supervisory workers. Now about 82% of the private sector work. That is so important. Private sector funds the public sector. 82% of private sector workforce. Track steadily upward alongside gains in productivity. So there it is right there. Now, the rising value of goods and services per worker meant rising, I can't see that, there it is, meant rising pay, but that relationship ended in 1970s. So here's the baseline, 1947, right? So you follow it up here, so this is just after World War II, then you got the booming 50s and the hippie 60s and the disco 70s, Studio 54, and then you get up to here, boom. What happened? Productivity is still going on an upward trend, isn't it? Yes, it is. So we follow the productivity up this way, and this way, and this way, and this way, and then it didn't. So payrolls with productivity, and then it didn't. So here's the breakdown right here. 1980, aka 1979. So here it is. There's the change from 1947 to 1979. It's up 119% productivity. And in formality or in form or in line would be your average hourly compensation, and in line with that would be your average hourly wage right here. But then, look at this. From 1979 to 2009, average hourly compensation did not reflect the cost or the productivity that was produced. So look at this massive delta we have here. It's huge. And then the average hourly wage, same thing. Look at the massive delta in between productivity. That's how we're getting robbed. If inflationatory, inflationatory stagnation and debt building we're in now, as opposed to wealth building back in the day where bank accounts will pay you 4.5, 5, 6, up to 8% on your bank account. You had $1 million. They gave you $80,000 a year on your bank account. Why? Because in 1972, we were pulled off the gold standard. And back then, banks were giving awesome rates on your savings. Then it started to trickle down to 5.5%, then 4.5%, and then boom, small recession here, and then boom, back again. Now banks are giving you nothing. Nothing. So after Richard Milhouse Nixon took us off the gold standard right here, that's when you started to see the change. And basically, they needed to pull us off the gold standard to pay for wars. Wars needed to be funded, and they couldn't do it. It would be too expensive to fund a war with a backed gold standard currency. Plain and simple. It would be too expensive. Okay. Income gains for all then. So let's take a look at it then. From 1947 to 1979, all lower classes did better than the top fifth of earners on percentage basis. So here it is. Bottom fifth plus 122%. So this is income gains, okay, for everything, for everybody. Second fifth plus 101%. Third fifth 113%. Fourth fifth 115%. And top fifth 99%. And then lopsided gains at the top. So from 1980 to 2009, no one did better than the top fifth. The poorest lost ground. So here are these people right here, and even these people, heck, maybe even these people, I could tell you right now, they're on a treadmill. Just on a treadmill. Serfdom, and that's what's happening right here. So 26,934 or less, 26,000 to 47 large, 47,000 to 73,000, and 73,000 to 112,000, and 112,000 or more. So a lot of these people are on a serious treadmill, and that's what happens when you die with nothing. You die in debt, you die with nothing, and you have no assets and nothing to show. It's basically serfdom. You live the life of serfdom, a serf. So there's your top fifth there. And that was easily obtained back in the day at a flick of a cap, or a flip of a hat, or flip of a coin. I don't know what the saying is. Okay, great wealth to the top 1%. So here's the peak. So there's the share of national income that went to the 1% of earners. So you have all your earners here. You got the Great Depression here. This gray zone that you see here is called a depression bar, or a recession. I would call this a depression bar because it went on for a long time, and it took a good from the great crash of 29 all the way up until pretty much when we entered the war. So there it is. Yeah, there's the recession, and then there's World War II, the Great War, and then it was reversed by policy. Okay, you had Eisenhower, and you had all those guys in those administrations back in the day, up until right here. Hold on, I'm trying to see if I could. Yeah, till the Nixon administration was in power right here, and then you started seeing the lows. And then you start seeing the transformations. So here it is, guys. It was reversed. Most workers got bigger share of the economic gains as wages grew. The top 1% share hit the low point. So there was a reverse policy. So you got John Fitzgerald Kennedy right here. Right? And then you got, I think it was Gerald Ford. No, it wasn't Gerald Ford. What was that? It was, I don't even know. And then you had Richard Milhouse Nixon right here. That pulled the U.S. off the gold standard to help fund wars, right? Then you had Eisenhower administration. I think it was back here, right? So then let's go here. National economic gains again flowed upward even after the two downturns. So there was two downturns. There wasn't a proper correction, but then rose again. In 2007, the average wage. The average wage income of the top 1% was about 713 large. So it's putting the others here in a huge disparity because they're not gaining to what they should be getting paid here. According to this, they're not getting paid nearly enough what they should, and they just can't compete. So this is so let's go to this now. So to sustain a household spending, 1975, percentage of women and children under 18 who also worked. Okay, it's 47%. 2008, percentage of women with children under 18 who also worked, 71%. So there's dual incomes, and it's still not catching up to when a single, because you could obviously see that it was more single income earners at the time. But then you look at here, you got dual income earners because there's more women in the workforce, and what does that tell you? They can't survive. And debt piled up. Here it is, guys. So everything started to go really bad. So if you want to go here, you got 26 points right here in 1947. And you work your way up this way. And now the household debt as a percentage of disposable income. Debt exceeded income starting in 2001. So in 2001 is when you had the reversal, the inversion of when debt exceeded income. So, and then that's when we had the crash in 2007, 2008, the somewhat correction, and then now we are at the position right now where we're overly. American household debt is at about 150% GDP per household debt in household. So they're taking the average price of a home or home ownership as putting it towards GDP, what they're doing now to make GDP numbers look good, and it has nothing to do, and it's just basically massaging numbers to misinform us, to make us think that we're doing well, or we're the best time in history to be alive is now financially. But I beg to differ, guys. Australia is over 200% GDP per household, where basically the gaining productivity, they're 200% in debt right now. In the U.S., this is at 120%, but right now in the U.S. it's about 150 points, and we are almost in 2020. So in Canada is around 185% in debt. The average Canadian is, I think, $400 away from being homeless. I think 400 or 140. I can't even remember what it was. It was something crazy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would like to know. This Saturday on Mike of the Night, we're going to do a special show. We're going to be talking about the Generation X. We're going to be talking about we're going to go from millennials to Gen X and to the boomers, and kind of break down when things went wrong and how things went wrong. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you want to support this transmission, don't forget to hit me up once in a while on Patreon and support me in a coffee. I drank my coffee. Thanks for the coffee, Patreon supporters, and thanks for watching.